Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Secret Sauce Podcast. I am joined today with Tony Long, who's a real estate agent who runs Long Real Estate Group and is also pseudo-responsible for bringing real brokerage to the Kansas side of things. Did I say that right?
In the Missouri side.
In Missouri side?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Tony, the reason I want to have Tony on today, one, he's a friend, but he's also really, really good at real estate, runs a really, really great team. And how much, like, just to quantify it, how much business did you do last year, 2023?
100. I don't know volume wise. I probably should. I could find that number, but we sold 132 homes last year. And last year it was me, Chad, David. We had 4 agents on the team at the time at 132 transactions. So I never do volume. I never track volume. I just track transactions, actually.
Got it. But doing a lot of business. Family guy. You got 4 kids, all under
7, 4, 3, and 3.
Yeah. Youngest are twins. You got a full plate, but you still managed to get a whole lot done. And when we were talking about like what would be defined, how could we define your secret sauce? What really kind of stood out in my mind when we were talking was how disciplined you are. And so that was what I really wanted to dial in today, get more in the details on just how disciplined you are, because I think it is your secret sauce. So let's just jump into that. If you're good with it, have you always been super disciplined, or is this something that you've learned over time?
Something I learned over time. So we'll talk about discipline. I was in college for 7.5 years at Kansas State University. I didn't take any breaks.
You're not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. I'm not an engineer. I'm a realtor. Don't even use that degree. But wasn't very disciplined in college, as 7.5 years will tell you. Graduated from K-State, moved here, worked for Enterprise Rental Car for maybe 5 months, and then got into real estate. Getting into real estate, I worked for Steve and Nancy Summers that ran Realty Executives at the time. Steve Summers is a very disciplined man. Actually, he's probably one of my 3 mentors that I would say that has been mentored my career pretty much. Very disciplined person. I got discipline from him. And then after working for Steve and Nancy, I worked for Group Odell for a very long time. Dan Odell is disciplined as well. So I learned kind of discipline from him. And then I've just increased my discipline as more responsibilities came on and more stress came on. We'll say that.
Yeah. So let's dive into what we mean by discipline, but it starts super early in the morning, right?
Correct. Now, I used to not be an early morning person. I've always been at the office by 9 o'clock. That was something that when I worked for Group Odell, we needed to be in the office making our calls, touching our SOI. So, but then as I've gotten kids, more children and all that kind of stuff and more life, I've learned that for me to get what I want to get done for myself, I need to wake up early. So,
but it's real early. We're talking 4 a.m. every day.
4 a.m. every single day. And then no BS. I mean, like I know people are always like, I can't do that. I'm like, yes, you can. You just have to be disciplined enough to not scroll on. I mean, most people out there can go to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock. That's what I'm usually in bed by 9:30, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. If you don't stay up and scroll on your phone through all the social media and waste your time and just go to bed, you can wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, it takes some time. But then that's where discipline I don't like waking up at 4 o'clock. It's just now I'm into I can just do it actually. So I'm also a very big morning person, but I also think the people that are like, I'm not a morning person, those are the people that are staying up till 12 o'clock watching Netflix or doing stuff they probably shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, you've conditioned yourself to be a morning person. Like I was never a morning person. I don't get up at 4. I get up at 5:15 every day, and I thought I was doing good until I talked to you. But I can't go to bed when the sun's still shining like you either. No, but I mean, 4 a.m. is crazy. Did you just think like that 5 a.m. club and you wanted to one up that or what?
It was, I work out at 5:30. The CrossFit class I take at 5:30. Is at 5:30, so it was always a up by 4:45. But then as my kids have gotten older, gotten up earlier and stuff like that, I also wanted to do extra work before that. So then 4 o'clock just became my number. So every morning my watch vibrates at 4 o'clock. I have a backup. My phone, I know at a recent podcast, you were like, hey, put your phone away. My phone will ring at 4:10. That's like the emergency. Like if that rings, also, truth be told, I don't want my phone to ring because that will wake up my wife. And that's not good for anybody. So my thing is to try to get up when this vibrates.
So Tara doesn't get up at 4.
No, she does not. The twins usually get up somewhere between 5:30, 5:15 and 5:45. So, but like it was going to be, my wife takes care of the kids Tuesday, Thursday. I have them, or no, sorry. I take care of the kids Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Tara takes care of them Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning. That means just getting up with them and stuff like that. And to get into the routine of always doing that. So most people would have said, okay, well, if you don't have the kids, you could sleep in and stuff like that. But I was like, nope, I'm going to get up. And then instead of, I don't go to CrossFit on Tuesdays and Thursdays because I go wake up the kids, I still want to get a workout in. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll get up and do a run and do my push-ups and all that kind of stuff so that I'm back home before the twins get up. So
your morning routine's like 4 a.m. to 7 a.m., right?
If I do CrossFit, it's 4 to I get home probably around 6:45, 7 o'clock. And then if I do my running routine Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, up by 4, I'm usually back at the house by 5:15. I'm done with everything by 5:45.
So Tony also owns a CrossFit gym. I should have said that when I was talking about how busy he is. He didn't think he was busy enough, so he's a co-owner of a CrossFit gym too.
Funny story about CrossFit. I've known Chad a very, very long time. Chad was part owner of a CrossFit gym. How long ago was that? That's probably like 13 years ago. 13 years ago. And when he bought into the CrossFit gym, I made fun of him religiously, almost daily. Actually, at the time we were at KWOP. I'd walk by your office to get to my office, and I would say, man, that's a cult. You guys are meatheads, blah, blah, blah. Made fun of him for a very, very long time. And then fast forward, I got into it. I love it. I'm addicted to it, and then became an owner of it. Not really by accident, but it was my real estate business had a lot to do with owning the CrossFit gym. So, and now I own a CrossFit gym, and I retract everything I ever made fun of you about.
And I don't anymore. Yeah, amazing. So you said you're pretty much disciplined to the point where it's boring.
Yeah, I think there's I listen to a podcast. I'm a big podcast listener. I listened to a podcast on somebody that they were like, you need to get into a routine that your routine almost makes you bored. So where like my routine is the exact same almost every single day, which it makes it kind of boring. But I also will tell you that if I'm out of my routine, my inner circle knows it because I'm not in a good mood. If I'm out of my, if I don't get to work out, or if I don't, yesterday Real hosted a breakfast. So I needed to get to the office by 8 to let the caterer in, and had a bunch of stuff. So I missed out on some of the stuff I normally do. And my day was ruined, and I was in a bad mood all day long. So my routine keeps me in a good mood. And if I'm out of my routine, I'm in a bad mood.
Got it. So it's boring to the point where you literally, I think this is nuts, but you literally listen to the exact same thing every morning. You don't listen to a new, different podcast every morning sometimes, but every morning you listen to the same audio clip. It's like a motivational.
I listen to him. So Chad made fun of me when I said this, but
I'm going to continue to. It's crazy.
Listen to, there's a 1 hour motivational speech on Spotify called Kill Your Laziness. And actually The Rock is like the logo for it. And all it is a bunch of motivational speakers with some really music in the background. But the message that each one of those speakers is saying, I personally think it pertains to me and my business and my personal life.
It resonates, right?
So it resonates fully to me. I can recite it through and through. Like I listen to it every morning. I run to it because it's 1 hour long. And then when I get to the gym at about 4:15, I do a pre-workout before people start showing up, because sometimes I do have to coach at 5:30. And there's a guy that walks in named Chase that walks in about 5:15 every single morning. And you can tell when he walks in the door, he's just like, this dude's listening to this again. And it's now to the point where he's just like, oh, here it is. And I joke, I'm like, it's going to make you better, man. It's going to make you better.
Is that part of the clip?
No, they're probably, but yeah, I listen to the exact same. It motivates me. And I don't know, the message of it, I know I send it to you. What they talk about is pretty much how I run my business and live my life. So,
well, I think that's the key there, is just like find your thing. Like for anybody, it doesn't have to be that clip, but find something that resonates so much with you, right? That motivates you, that gets you in the zone, right? That gets you kind of vibrating on a higher frequency. Like you said, your day's off if it doesn't do it. So for you, you know that that's going to put you in that zone, and it affects the rest of your day.
Correct. And it's also like trying to get into it, like habit building. It's a habit now, but most realtors don't have habits, and we have a job that is, we don't have set hours. And what's bad about that is we don't have set hours, that these realtors every single day can be different. And when you're, every single day is different, which is great, but if you don't have some sort of regimen in your day, you're going to like,
structure.
I joke with realtors, if you're at Macy's at 2:00 on Tuesday shopping, you're probably not selling any houses. Like, I think that it's unfortunately, you have realtors that quit their Cerner job or their job with Sprint or whatever, because they're like, I don't want to work for the man anymore. I'm tired of working at 8 to 5. And I'm like, well, you're going to work for lots of bosses if you have clients, one, and then two, you're not 8 to 5 anymore. You're going to be 8 to 10 sometimes, or, all that. And it's just more of trying to get, I treat the real estate as it's my business. It is what brings money to my household, is what feeds my children. So I need to be working at it all the time, pretty much.
So what does that look like? In like a normal day, what are some things that you do business-wise, business development-wise? I know, like you make the same video, you do the same videos every day, you do the same calls every day. Right?
So it's morphed as time went on, but starting in January, I watched a clip on an agent that said, "Hey, I'm not big on social media. I'm not a big social media person. Emily, my marketing gal, does all my social media, but I normally am not good behind a camera, even though I probably look pretty good on this camera right now." And I watched a video of a guy that was like, "If you're not good on a camera, start sending videos to your clients one-on-one for their birthdays and special events." So in January, I started that every day. I have birthdays with a database as big as ours. I have there's always a birthday a day, and then purchase anniversaries. So then I will send them a video of me just saying, "Good morning, Chad. Today's a special day." I've morphed it as I started. It just used to be, "Hey, Chad, it's Tony. I'm the dude that sends another dude a video on their birthday, wishing them happy birthday." Now I look up whose famous birthdays are that day.
I used this the other day, actually. Mary made fun of me, but I used it the other day.
Yeah. And it's and so get back to routine. I when I get to the office, I do not look at my email. I try to stay off my phone. And as soon as I get down, I do my birthday card. So we send a birthday card to everybody with a scratcher ticket. And then I do my birthday calls, my purchase anniversary calls, and then I do my check-in calls. And that is now morphed. My check-in calls used to be a call, a text, and email. The system I use tells me, like, you need to send them a text, you need to send them an email, you need to send them, or you need to call them. I've now morphed that into, because the video messages, have been so good, that now I do my check-ins with people are usually via video. So it's not your birthday, it's not your purchase anniversary, but it's like, "Hey, Chad, it's Tony. Just wanted to say hi, check in with you. Hope everything's good with the house. If you need, anything at all, you need a plumber, handyman, electrician, I want to be here to help you. If you ever want to know what your house is worth, please let me know. I'd love to send you a quick video CMA of what your house is worth." And then I usually will then promote whatever we've got coming up. So we've got a dumpster day coming up September 21st. So I always chime in that, "Hey, we've got dumpster day coming up. You've got a postcard in the mail." It's just more of a reminder. The reason the video has been so, like, what I use all the time, to the point that people probably hate that I talk about it so much, is it's I've never had someone not respond back to that text. Like, you can always text somebody a happy birthday and they'll give you a thumbs up or whatever. It is now a video, so they're seeing your face. You're giving them a message. They're not going to get that from anybody. Like, I always joke with agents, I'm like, call your clients on their birthday. They're not going to answer their phone. Leave them a voicemail message, because I know on my birthday, the only people that call me are my grandmother and my mother and my father. But like, what if their realtor called them? Like, their doctor's not calling them and stuff like that. So the video is just kind of a one-up. I also just try to make it funny. I try to make them laugh.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second, because I said I used it and then we changed topic. But you look up who's famous person birthday, like a couple famous people.
And then I always say, I'm like, Chad, today is a special day, my friends. Today is Wilt Chamberlain's birthday. And then I'll usually pick like funny people pretty much. Kenny Rogers, truth be told, his birthday was like Wednesday. He's deceased, R.I.P. Kenny Rogers. But I literally was like, today would have been Kenny Rogers' birthday, but he died. And then I'll say, but also today is your birthday. So I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I hope you have an amazing day. I usually chime in like, hey, if it's the wife, I'm always like, hopefully, you know, Chad has bought you something expensive. And if you didn't, you know what? You have my advice to go out and buy yourself something expensive and da-da-da. But you'll get somebody that responds back like, you know what? Thank you. I am going to tell Chad I'm going to buy myself something expensive. Or I always like joke, if it's raining outside, I'll point to the outside. I'm like, it's gloomy as hell in Kansas City. Hopefully you're somewhere better. And you'll get someone that responds back like, yeah, we're in Costa Rica for my birthday. I'm like, awesome, good job. So,
well, it just shows the extra effort. Like, what I loved about that is when you bring up whose birthday it was, right? It shows the extra effort you took to go look that up. And it is a custom message that they're not like, oh yeah, it doesn't feel like you do it to everybody.
Correct. No, and it's one-on-one. I change it up all the time. And then like, if I know them, which I know all my clients, I usually will chime in something that has to do with them. So it's also, I've had more people respond back with, I can't believe you have time for this. Like, because they know, like, most of my people know that I have 2 businesses, I have 4 children and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, they're literally like, this guy's taking 30 to 45 seconds out of his time to make this video to me.
And research who else's birthday it was. Like, it shows effort. And,
correct.
I'm sure that it's way more impactful than sending a message on Facebook.
Well, then, like, purchase anniversaries, like, people, I will meet people that I did not sell them their house, but they'll ask me a real estate question, and then I'll get to know them, kind of nourish that relationship. I will find out their birthday and I'll find out their purchase anniversary, and I will message them on their purchase anniversary and say, hey, Chad, actually it's usually, hey, Chad and Amy, today's a special day. I bet you probably don't know what today is, but today is your anniversary. I say this verbatim. Today is your anniversary. And then I'll say, no, Chad, it's not your wedding anniversary. So be calm on that. Today is your 8-year anniversary of being in your home. So congratulations for being in your home for 8 years. And I'll say, I know I didn't help you sell your house, but you and I both know I'm a better agent than that agent, because they're not going to call you on your purchase anniversary, and they're damn sure not going to send you a video. So that's why I'm your new guy. If you ever need anything, let me know. I've got plumbers, blah, 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 and I go into my spiel. So
I love how you work humor into it, and it's like, you don't take yourself too seriously.
I mean, my secret sauce has always been, be yourself, be professional when you need to be, but be yourself. And I mean, I joke with people all the time. I use profanity on those videos sometimes, and they just, that's me. And I like to bring humor into pretty much anything I can. So
I love it. But I mean, when you talk to different agents, they're like, do you really do that every day? Like, there's no way you do that every single day. And now we get back to the discipline piece. Like, those little touches, discipline every day is how you grow a big business.
Correct. But that's why I will tell people, like, do this. I'm just asking you to do this. Or then they'll say, well, I don't have their birthday. I'm like, then call them and get their birthday, or look on Facebook or whatever. But if they could just set aside 15 minutes to do that, it will build it. But then what happens to all realtors is they get to the office, they open up their email, they get engulfed in whatever email's in there, or they start scrolling on their phone and looking what other realtors are doing and all this kind of BS, where if they just shut everything off, focus on that, then after that, focus on something else and go from there.
Yeah, I do think you got to shut everything else down. Take all the distractions out of it if you're going to do it well. What else are you disciplined about? Something you say to you've got some like a card that you look at, or some things you say to your like affirmations or something.
Yeah, got it from another podcast. This is something that's been going on for a while. I've got a sheet of paper that is on my garage door. It's on my bathroom mirror. It's by my desk. It's literally just a bunch of things. Actually, hold on. I add to the list sometimes, but it's just things that to win. Like there's a book called Win the Day. That there's certain things that I need to do every single day to consider it a win. So, and some of the stuff is things I need to get done, but then there's things that I just need to remind myself of. So, the first on the list says, "You are not normal." Wake up at 4 o'clock, run and work out. Then there's certain workout things, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups, all that kind of stuff. Stay off your phone. I am grateful for this life. Be where your feet are. So that means wherever I'm at, that's where my feet need to be. I need to be listening there. Love and support Tara. That's my wife. Invest in and love my children. I invest in means I was very bad at always being like, oh, I want this shirt and buying that shirt. Invest in my children is more of like, hey, stop buying stuff for yourself, invest in my children. So instead of buying that shirt, I'll get Lucas a new baseball glove or something like that. Eat healthy, no drinking, 10,000 steps a day, and enjoy your day. So some of those things are just more reminders to myself. Like, I think a lot of realtors or a lot of people in general right now need to be grateful for what they have. And I just have to be reminded of that, because there are days that suck and you're like, God, I hate this. But it could be way freaking worse. So just be grateful for what you have.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love that. I mean, it goes along the concept of just like gratitude every day, but to focus on the things that you do have, not the stuff you lack.
Correct.
Right? Because if you focus on the stuff you lack, you start just trying to fill a void. You start buying random stuff, and next thing you know, you're just got a bunch of stuff. But
yeah, that's something I just put it wherever I know my eyes will see it. So bathroom mirror, it's by the garage door right before I walk out to leave the house, so I see it there. I used to always carry it with me, and then I have it on the wall next to my computer. It's just a little square, but I add to it, and it just keeps me accountable.
I mean, people will make fun of that because it's like,
to
some people it sounds corny or whatever, but like it legitimately makes a difference. You see it so many times a day, keeps you on track, keeps you accountable to those things. Little stuff like that. I mean, it's not, you haven't built your business because you are wildly different. Like,
correct. No, right? I just do traditional real estate. I literally, people are always like, well, how do you sell so many houses? I'm like, I just take care of my people. I don't care about perfect strangers. All I care about is my past people. And if I can take care of them, they will take care of me.
But you do it systematically, right? You do it with a process. And like anybody can say, yeah, I take care of people. But if you don't have a system or a process for it, you take care of people when it's convenient.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. And it's not when it's convenient. That's all you focus on.
Correct. So it is, no matter if I'm busy or if I'm slow, I do the exact same. I still follow with the same amount of people every single day and do that. So
it's, I mean, I've got some stuff that I'm going to take away from that I'm going to start. The card that, like, actually have that card with the stuff that's important to me. Quite a few things, actually. I'm not going to start getting up at 4, I don't think, Tony. But I love it, man. Let me ask you a couple questions real quick, and then I'm going to get you out of here. Okay? I'm going to spitball some questions at you. If you had a magic wand and you could change one thing about your business, what would it be?
I love my business. I love my team. It's like family, pretty much. But if there was one thing, he sent me these questions ahead of time, so it's good that I actually got to think about this. I need to eventually hire what I would like to call a care bear, which is someone that their only job is to search my SOI for events, pretty much, like
opportunities.
Yeah, because I mean, I tell people all the time, I don't look at social media. My goal always is to keep my social media activity down to a total of maybe 30 minutes a day. That's Instagram and Facebook. I'm rarely on Facebook, but I don't follow realtors. I only follow my SOI and then people that motivate me or whatever. But what happens is I use social media to find out, like, hey, has there been a death in the family? Did they, did their son score their first soccer goal? But what happens with that is I look through that, and human nature, you get off track where I want to find someone that can actually just be like, hey, log into my Instagram and look through all my clients and give me three tips, three people that I need to reach out to actually pretty much unreasonable hospitality to. I do that, but then I always take a screenshot so that I don't forget about it. But I need almost somebody to do a little bit more of that.
You could hire a VA for that pretty easy.
I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I've got Emily and my sister Amber. Emily's my marketing coordinator, and Amber is my transaction coordinator. They do already a lot. Emily does a lot to me, and most people would say, "Well, you could have Emily and Amber do that." Their plates are already full.
Sure.
That it would be nice to have that. Or I'd also, I joke about this, and I've joked about this for many years. I want to eventually hire a driver. I want to hire an older guy that literally shows up at my house at 8:30, parks his car in my cul-de-sac, gets in my car, and I get in the back seat, and he drives me wherever I need to go. That is so third world problems, but there's so much work I could get done when I'm in my, like, driving right now. I'm surprised I haven't gotten a car wreck already for how much I'm on my phone when I'm driving. But if I had a driver, and I also think it would be so badass to actually have to show houses to buyers, which people will find weird, that I think all agents should be having their clients in their car. Agents have gotten so far away from actually taking their clients, which, don't get me wrong, with the new NAR settlement and us showing our value, having your clients in your car showing them houses is the best way to build a relationship with them, learn more about them, to where after it's done, they're like, oh my God, I missed looking at a house with Tony. But if I had that driver, I would sit with them. This driver would be like, hey, we're going to 123 Main. And then he'd take us, and then I can actually, like, one-on-one focus with them. It would be game changer. Game changer.
You've been watching too much Ryan Serhant, I think.
Does he have a driver?
Yeah.
So
but
don't
it's
get me wrong.
New York City. I think everybody has a driver.
But also, don't get me wrong, on a tangent, but Ryan Serhant is like, when people watch that show on Netflix, like, it makes me throw up, because it makes real estate look bad.
Sure.
I mean, it just makes real estate.
Because you got to focus on all the drama.
Correct.
Right?
But I will say this, having a driver, there's so many calls, emails, text messages I could get done and not worry about dying if I wasn't driving my car.
I thought about the same thing, actually. I was like, man, people would make fun of me for that a ton, but it would actually be very efficient.
Oh my God. And I also think it wouldn't be that expensive. Like, there's so many older retirees that are driving the little minibuses for the retirement homes. Like, what about just getting a Cliff? Hey, Cliff, be at my house at 8:30.
Yeah, and have him wear a hat, like a driver cap, and
yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Some days Cliff's just going to be hanging out playing solitaire on his phone. But when I'm like, Cliff, saddle up, partner, let's go, it'd be great. It'd be great. So that's what I would say: either hiring a Care Bear or hiring a driver.
Well, you're not too far off from a driverless car to handle that for you. But I also think that a great, like, to level that up would be get a Sprinter van, put it with a TV inside, and you can sit with the customers, like, inside a Sprinter van, showing them, like, hey, here's the house we're going to look at, right? And have that kind of all lined up. That would be a crazy experience.
Correct.
So I like that idea. We got to talk more about that. All right, before I let you go, tell me, if you were to move to a new city or state right now, how would you? And you started from scratch. You didn't know anybody. How would you get to a point where you're dominating in that market?
This is a very good question. So there's been multiple times I've thought about, why don't we just pick up my family and we'll move to San Diego or whatever. And then I always think, like, oh my God, I have this huge database. I have this business here. If I was to, let's just say, I moved to San Diego. If I up and moved to San Diego right now, I would, he sent me this question ahead of time, so I had time to think about it. I would probably join a team. I actually probably would, where I'm at with my business, I would find out who let's just say the top 10 teams in San Diego. I would join there. I would pretty much go in and interview. I'd interview them. And then I'd pretty much go to the team leader and be like, I would pretty much be his minion, his or her minion. I'll do whatever you want me to do. And then I would probably hold as many open houses as possible, to the point where I don't. Open houses used to be very big for my business back in the day. I don't do open houses now. But if I was to move to a new, I would literally strategically do open houses. I would strategically look at, okay, within the last 2 weeks, what price range, because all of our showing services actually provide, you can do range, see what houses are being shown, what prices are being shown on that. I would look and where's the bulk of showings happening, and I would strategically book open houses in that price range, and then show up to, like, I do the work of doing that open house, door knock ahead of time, and then when I'm at the open house, I probably have 5 other similar houses to that one, so that when, Chad and Amy walk in and they don't have an agent, I would say, hey, if you're looking at this house, you might want to look at these 5. And if you want to, I get done here
Like
at
Sprinter
3.
vans out back. You want to hop in and go see them?
Correct.
Yeah.
But open houses, but I would possibly, because going into a new market, like if I moved to San Diego, I don't know the streets, I don't know the neighborhoods. So I would need someone that I could mentor to do that. I know when I got into real estate, I did okay my first 3 years. I didn't do awesome until I worked with Group Odell, and I had the luxury of sharing a 10 by 10 office with Dan Odell. Like, my back was always to him, so I heard him on the phone. I heard what his, I wouldn't say script, but how he talked to clients, how he worked. I learned that. And so if I moved to San Diego, I would just find somebody and I would literally be their shadow. If they're okay with it, I'd be their shadow until I'm ready to get rolling.
I love that. The reason I asked that question is because new agents, right? Like, just another way to ask, like, what advice would you give a brand new agent that doesn't have a past database right now?
It's
the same, right?
I tell agents all the time, like, find the biggest producer and ask them, like, hey, can I shadow you? I will keep my mouth shut. I won't say a word, but I just want to be your shadow. And what they all, like, all of them say, like, I've had people come to me and be like, hey, I want to shadow you. I'm like, all right, sounds good. I'm here in this office at 9:00. Be here. And they'll do it for one day, and then routine, they don't show up again. Or they're like, oh, I've got this going on, or whatever. Like, I showed up. I listened to Dan I was Dan's shadow I went to listing appointments with him. I went to buyer appointments on him. I went to showings with him to just hear what he said. And then I learned that. So I would just tell a new agent, you need to find a mentor, a good mentor, find someone that you think is a good person, is running a good business, and be their shadow. Like, wherever they're at, and if they're okay with it, be in their back seat when they're showing houses. I just see what they do on a day-to-day basis. Like, there's a lot of people that come to me and say, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. I'm like, come hang with me for a week and then make your decision. And most people, if they hung with me for a week, would say, oh my God, this is so much fun. Or they'd be like, no, I don't want to do this.
Are you gonna have them come over and wake them up at 4 a.m. Not sleep in your guest
But I
bed?
mean, if you're not, don't get me wrong, if you're not waking up at 4:00, you still need to be waking. Like, some of these realtors are waking up. I mean, I personally think it seems weird to me that from 9 to 5, there's not a lot of conversation with realtors. It seems like every time I get contracts or whatever, it's always after 5:00. I'm always like, what do these people do during the day? But it's like, you get realtors that are like, oh, I woke up at 9, I woke up at 10:30, or I woke up and I watched the news for a while. I'm like, don't watch the news, number one. But like, they have no regimen, they have no systematic approach to this that I just don't think will last a long time. Maybe there's probably some people that don't have a system that it works, but
to that point, this is a true story. This year, I had an agent set up a lunch appointment with me at noon, and he no-showed, and he texted me an hour later and said, I'm so sorry, my alarm didn't go off. It was a noon appointment, and his alarm didn't go off, and that was the reason why he didn't show up. Yeah, so I agree with you totally. Tons of nuggets in this thing, man. I really, really appreciate it. If somebody wants to come shadow you, how do they get a hold of Tony Long?
You can find me anywhere. Email is tony@soldbylong.com. Website soldbylong.com. And then I think my social media handles at Sold by Long is our Instagram, and my personal. I don't even know what my personal Instagram is.
We'll put your info in the show notes.
I
got a bonus question, Tony. I think a lot of agents right now are struggling with this. I get a ton of agents that ask me or tell me, hey, I'm trying to refer people to you, but they're already pre-approved. So I'm sorry. Next buyer that is not pre-approved, though, I'm definitely going to send them your way. Or I'm trying, but they're pre-approved. So I know that doesn't matter to you necessarily, right? You take a little bit more control. So how do you navigate that discussion or that situation without feeling like you're rocking the boat? When somebody comes to you, they're already working with a lender. How do you make sure that they are taken care of?
One, always have buyer meetings. Always have a buyer meeting, sit down with them, and I go through their exact the process. My buyer meeting takes about an hour and a half, but we talk about lending big in there. Now, they ask a lot of buyers ask lending questions, and I joke, "Hey guys, I sell the houses, I don't finance them." But I answer as much as I can. But I always say, "Have you been pre-approved?" And they'll say yes. And it's always they'll give you a name or whatever. I always follow that up with, do you know them? How did you get their name? How did you find them or whatever? If it's a family, oh, my dad, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to step on their toes because usually they've been referred to me. So I don't want to be like, oh, you should talk to somebody else. So I usually kind of tread lightly on that, but I always do say, like, guys, if you want a second opinion, which I think is a very good idea, especially in the market that we're in right now, it's always good to get a second opinion. Please let me know. I would love to give you someone that I know, love, and trust. And then I also kind of chime in with, hey, I don't know them. That's what's funny is sometimes you write an offer and the agent calls and will say, hey, I see that your buyer's pre-approved through Chad Treese. I don't know him. And you're like, yeah, he doesn't know you either. Yeah. Like, it's the biggest insult ever. But I will usually say, hey, I don't know that lender, but they're probably great. But the person I know, there's a lot of hiccups. There's a lot of things that can go wrong during the transaction. I know this person will get it done and then also very, very much take care of you. I also will bring up like, hey, have you met with this person face to face? And they're like, no, we've just talked on the phone. I'm like, this is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. You need to meet with this lender just like you're meeting with me. I always joke, I'm like, you're meeting with me. You're giving me an hour and a half of your time to meet with me so I can run you through this so you can trust me. You need to meet with that lender face to face. And the guy that I give you will want to meet with you face to face to tell you how to use your money the best. Because most of these people are like, I got pre-approved, 20% down, and well, that's it. They also think like, oh, I've got a 5.9% interest rate. I'm like, that was 30 days ago. That's not your interest rate now. They don't know that, but it's only because it was just a quick phone call and then a pre-approval in the mail or email. I'm more of like, you need to meet with someone and talk about what's the best use of your money. Maybe 20% down is not the best. Maybe, they've got a different loan program. So I tread lightly. I always say, hey, I would love for you to get a second opinion. But I also don't want to kill that relationship. If it's like, hey, it's my brother, but if it's like, hey, I just walked into Commerce Bank and I got pre-approved, I'm always like, okay, I'm going to need you to call somebody else, and kind of go from there. But if I do that, the lending question or the lending talk usually is after I've talked about the entire real estate process from start to finish. So by that time, they're like, this guy knows his stuff. I trust this guy. So then it's like, whatever you tell us to, I wouldn't say whatever you tell us to do, we're going to do, but it's more of like, I've gained their trust and they've seen that I'm a human being, that I care about them, that, hey, whoever I give you is going to care about you as much as I care about you. So
I love it. Thanks for sharing, man.
No problem, brother.